This video is going to demonstrate my method for creating an enlarged detail like what you see on the screen here. A detail reference, and then if you scroll over, we have the detail itself. So stick around and I'll show you how I accomplished this. I'm sure you've encountered this situation before where you have a drawing and you have a small area that's part of that site plan, and you need to detail that small area. Busy little area, there's a lot going on, and there's going to be a lot of labels going into that small area, right? So what you do, you create an enlarged detail of the area using a smaller scale than your overall drawing, and that allows you to fit all of those labels into that small area. Obviously, this is a very common and easy to fix problem that all of us have probably encountered 1,000 times before. For those of us that are new to this field, it might create a little bit of a hiccup and you would probably need some coaching to get through this process. I think it's worthwhile to document this procedure and include it in your plan production manual as an SOP or a standard operating procedure. This is going to provide the coaching for the new hires and will eliminate the need for them to interrupt one of their coworkers to ask how to accomplish this task. It's also helpful for the veteran team members. We all know that in AutoCAD, there are always 10 ways to accomplish the same task, right? All 10 methods might be equally effective. The problem arises when you go into somebody else's drawing and you can't figure out how they set up their drawing. You inevitably have to stop what you're doing and spend some time trying to figure it out. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into AutoCAD, and I will show you my method for accomplishing this task. Maybe it will give you some new ideas for how to do this. Okay, so you can see I have a site plan, and the site plan is at 30 scale. And the text or the annotation objects like the dimensions, keynotes, so on and so forth, are on the layer Anno. My annotative scale, you can see down here in the bottom right, is set to 30. And all of these annotation objects are annotative with a scale of 30. Now, I need to detail this ADA parking stall here. There's no way I'm going to be able to accomplish that using 30 scale. I'm not going to be able to fit all of my labels. I want to enlarge this area so that I can detail it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to paper space. This is the area that I have to work with here. Okay, so let me create a new viewport, and I'll go ahead and zoom in to the area that I want to detail. Now, let's talk about viewport layers. This is just my method, but what I do is the main viewport layer is just called viewport. The viewport layer is no plot, so you're not going to see the outline of the main view. For these details, I want to set the viewport on viewport viz. That is going to be a visible outline of the detail to kind of show that they're separate from the main drawing. So let's figure out what scale we're going to use. I'm going to double click in the viewport, and then let's start out with 5 scale. Okay, that's a little bit big. Maybe I'll try 10. Okay, I think that's going to work better, and I can go back into paper and maybe tighten this up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my tool palette, and I'm going to go to my annotation and bring in the detail title. Okay, and this is going to be detail 1, and it will be ADA parking detail, and the scale is 1 inch is equal to 10 feet. Now I can drag this out to match the width of the detail. Let's go back into the tool palette, and I want to bring in the north arrow, and this is facing straight up and down. Okay, so I think we have that pretty well established here. Let's go back into model space. We can go ahead and set the annotative scale to 10, and I'm going to start labeling. I want to label this ramp with a keynote. So I'm going to go back into my tool palette and I'm going to find my keynote with a leader. Okay, and this is going to be C9. And then I want to use the circle style on that. And this keynote is going to go on the anno layer. You know what, let's go ahead and make anno current. One thing to note, I'm using annotative scales. This block is an annotative block. So I can set the scale to 10 and the block is going to know what to do. It's going to know how to scale itself automatically. Okay, now let's label this parking here. I'll go into my annotation tab and I use my standard leader. And this is going to be no parking. No parking, white letters, 12 inches high per CBC 11B-502.3. I am working in California, so I need to specify these objects per the California Building Code. Let me go ahead, I'll add one dimension just to show you. Do an aligned dimension to show the width of this unloading zone. All of these leaders, dimensions, and blocks, like I mentioned before, they're all annotative, so they recognize that the annotative scale is set to 10 and they size themselves appropriately. Okay, I'm not going to bore you by showing you the labeling of this area. I've already labeled it ahead of time, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the labels into this view. Okay, I've copied them over. Now I've got this ADA parking stall all detailed, labeled, so on and so forth. Let's go back into paper space. And this all looks pretty good. I'm going to double click in the viewport and slide it over a little bit so I can capture all of this text. And then I want to obviously lock the viewport since I'm happy with how it looks right now. And I don't want it to get shifted in the future. Now you will notice this is part of using the annotative objects. None of the 30 scale annotations are shown in this viewport because they are 30 scale annotation objects. Only the 10 scale annotations are shown because this is a 10 scale detail. If we go back over to our main view, you can see only the 30 scale annotations are shown. None of the 10 scale annotations are shown because, once again, this is a 30 scale viewport. That's the beauty of using the annotation scales. All of these dimensions and labels are on a single layer, the anno layer. I don't have to create extra layers that will need to be viewport frozen, so I can hide them in the various viewports. AutoCAD takes care of it for you automatically. Okay, one last and final step. Let's go back into model space. And now I need to outline this area in my 30 scale view so I can point people to the detail that shows these dimensions. I have a nifty little block to take care of that for me. I'm going to go into my tool palette and grab the detail reference block. I can place this to outline these ADA parking stalls. Okay, so I want to reference the detail number. That's going to be detail number 1. This is standard engineering terminology. You have these detail references where you list the detail up above and then the sheet number down below. We're actually detailing this area on this sheet, which happens to be C2.0. Okay, so now with this block, it's pretty cool because you have some dynamic grips on this thing. You can basically move it around using this move block. You can stretch it horizontally and vertically, depending on what you need. So I think let's not cross out any of these dimensions here. Maybe I can do that. And then let's drag this up here. And then you can take this reference and move it wherever you like. And it's got a masking, so it's going to mask out whatever is behind it. And of course, this is going to go on the Anno layer. Okay, so let's go back into Paperspace and see how we did here. I think that looks pretty good. We're highlighting this area and letting people know, okay, if you want to see the information for this area, you need to look at detail number 1 on sheet C2.0. And then if we go back to our detail viewport, you're not going to see that detail outline because, again, it was a 30 scale detail or a 30 scale annotative block. I hope that was helpful for you. If you found this content helpful, consider visiting my website. I have lots of time-saving tools and blocks available. Thank you for watching and have a great day, okay? Take care.